From the capital city of Charleston, West Virginia, this is Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis. Inside West Virginia Politics is brought to you by AARP West Virginia, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State.
Welcome to Inside West Virginia Politics. I'm Adrienne Robbins. Mark Curtis will be joining us shortly. This week we are talking about all things high-tech here in West Virginia. So of course we had to come here to the high-tech park off I-79. And joining me now is Jim Estep, CEO and president of the West Virginia High-Tech Foundation. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Why don't we just start off by talking about the foundation and the importance of it here in West Virginia?
Well, the foundation is focused and dedicated to pursuing economic diversification. But more than just economic diversification, we're focused on economic diversification in the knowledge sector, which is a sector that the state has been weak in for many decades, and a sector that we have to build.
You know, we talk so much about economic diversification here in West Virginia. You're not talking about getting away from coal, though.
That's absolutely correct. And I think what most people don't understand is for the state's economy to be healthy, it has to be balanced. We have to have a diversification of industry. So we want coal to be as strong as it can. We want to make the absolute most we can out of the petrochemical. We want to try to grow a timber industry. But the one sector that we absolutely have to build is the knowledge sector. And the reason is because West Virginia has, for many years, had a very weak or imbalanced workforce demographic. Our workforce has had a very little educational attainment, and that has kept us at 50th for probably 50 or 60 years. So the only way we're going to solve that is building the knowledge sector.
So how do we build this knowledge sector? Obviously it starts with some of these federal partnerships that you're doing here at the high-tech park.
Well, that's absolutely correct. Ultimately, we want the companies, the knowledge sector companies, to come in and employ knowledge workers. But they're only going to come in if there's a business reason for them to do so. Now, a lot of companies will go to a location that has strong workforce attainment, workforce educational attainment. We don't have that. So we've taken a different approach to recruit federal operations in that spend tens of millions a year on technology-related work, and then that in turn creates a business case for these companies to want to come here. And then they come here and they offer the jobs that we're trying to build.
And I see a lot of construction going on when I was driving into the high-tech park. Tell me about some of the things that you guys are working on and what's in the pipeline coming up next.
Well, we're really excited. We just began moving dirt today, as a matter of fact, for the new road system into Phase 3 of the park. And Phase 3 is important because it opens up a whole bunch of pads that we are literally offering for free to the federal anchors that we're trying to get to come here.
And when they come here, obviously, then the hope is that they put out contracts and we get other businesses here as well.
Exactly. Just as I said, every time we recruit one of these federal operations, it has an exponential impact on the business case we're trying to grow. So anything I can do to get them to come here, offering free land, whatever, then that's what I'm going to do.
And obviously WVU is up here. We have Marshall in the state as well. A lot of students coming out. How do you make sure that they stay here in West Virginia, and how do you get some people who maybe left West Virginia because the opportunities weren't here when they graduated to come back?
Well, that's an excellent point. I think as it stands right now, we can virtually hire every technology-oriented graduate from every school in the state as it is today. I mean, we have probably 75 jobs available here in the park today. The FBI has at least 100. So we can hire all of them, but there's a lot of jobs that require somebody with a 2, 3, 4 years of experience. And what we really want to do is start recruiting home ex-West Virginians who pursued a technology degree but didn't have a job that they could go into in the state, and they live someplace else. We want them to come home to fill the jobs we're growing, and so they can be back with their families.
So we have less than a minute left. What's something that you would want people at home to know about here at the high-tech park?
Well, I hope that everybody understands that what we're doing is probably the most important economic development initiative in the state. We've been 50th for so long that I think everybody's tired of it, and Therefore, as part of our diversification effort, I hope everybody understands that we have to build the knowledge sector. We have to create jobs for folks with higher educational attainment, and we need to make that our top priority, no matter how successful we are in expanding the petrochemical industry or how stabilized the coal industry gets.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for right now, Mr. Estep. Thank you so much for being here this week. We're going to have much more talk on high tech here in West Virginia coming up after the break.
Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
And welcome back this Sunday to Inside West Virginia Politics. We're coming to you from the I-79 Technology Park here in beautiful Fairmont, West Virginia. I'm with Rod Rogers. He is the Vice President of Development for the High Tech Foundation. This is just an unbelievable facility. I mean, it's like so many people that have never actually been here before. We pass it on the interstate all the time. We see those gigantic satellite dishes, and you go, wow, this is really space age and cool. This must be really exciting for you to be working here now.
Fantastic opportunity to work with Jim Estep, the president, and the great team here, the management team. Everybody works well together, and we're all driven for the same vision.
Well, if Rod's face looks familiar, 4 years you were the district director for Congressman David McKinley, so you're a well-known figure and face around the state of West Virginia, and probably bring a lot of government knowledge and how the wheels work of Congress and stuff to make some of this stuff happen. We want to talk about what's behind us here, and this is the blueprint for the expansion. As the head of development here, you probably play a big role in this.
Of course, I work with Jim Estep on this, but we broke ground today on a road project, just under $4 million. It's going to open up the backside of the park for future development.
This is fascinating. 400 acres in all on the property. Right now, about 1,000 employees, many of them federal employees. Is the sky the limit here? Might we see 5 years from now 5,000 employees, or you never know?
You can see with the diagram behind us here, the potential is really unlimited, and because the buildings are not close together, the density is not tight, there's even more room for future development.
You guys are already in the works trying to bring in a well-known restaurant chain that's not represented in the area. You're talking about putting a hotel here and a medical center. I mean, what's the thinking behind that? Do you wind up attracting a lot of overnight business conferences from out of town that want to stay here for a few days rather than come in and come out in one day?
It's actually probably two-phase. We have a steady flow of businesses that use the facility for meeting rooms, seminars that happen all year round. And imagine, the feedback we're getting is, wouldn't it be nice to have a hotel? So we're looking at the feasibility of that, and we're talking to investors now about a boutique hotel and potentially a skywalk over to the main building that would open us up to perhaps one of the largest convention centers in north central West Virginia. You know, we can seat over 800 people in the main exhibit hall.
Well, this would be a great thing for not only the north central West Virginia economy, but the entire state, bringing this type of business in. We always talk about diversifying the economy and getting our chunk of the high tech sector, and you guys are trying to do this as well. What else do you see happening here? I mean, tell us some of the things. As I mentioned, my biggest memory of this property is driving by on the interstate, seeing the satellite dishes and all the buildings, but tell people some of the things that are housed here that maybe they don't even know about.
Well, there's a lot of government entities here that work here. Those are all exciting, but with this road coming into the back, look at the amount of property that's available right along the interstate and U.S. Route 250. You have excellent access to the infrastructure. Also, this is phase 3. Over here is phase 2. We're opening that up, so more commercial, light manufacturing, if you will. And we've got a lot of activity on this. We're looking at one firm right now that is interested between 8 and 10 acres. We'll keep you in a loop on that one. Yeah. And big development in north central West Virginia. As you alluded, we've got a national restaurant that we're dealing with, not in the Marion County area yet. And the doctor's office, primary care, staffed by 3 doctors.
Correct me if I'm wrong, we already have the largest supercomputer in the state in this property as well, right?
And one of the fastest on the globe. One of the fastest.
We have the Katherine Johnson NASA Space Center here now that was just renamed in her honor, the woman from Hidden Figures. This is an exciting time up here, isn't it?
Look at the map. Look at the master plan. And it's happening. It happens every day at the High Tech Foundation. We're all about the IT, knowledge-based economy. We breathe it, we live it, it's our passion.
Dispel a notion here. A lot of people look at high tech and they say it's all in Silicon Valley, it's all in Seattle, Austin, and Boston. It's in the Research Triangle of North America. People say, West Virginia will never get a piece of this pie.
I'll turn it around to you. Mark, look off this balcony. What do you see? You see 3 of the look at these satellite receiving stations monitoring the 3 newest satellites in space. You see it, you're here.
We're on the cutting edge, really, aren't we?
We're here.
And a lot of people don't know about it, which is why we're doing the show this week.
That's right.
We want to thank Rod Rogers. He's the Vice President of Development for the High Tech Foundation of West Virginia. This is really exciting, and a piece of the puzzle that we haven't talked about yet is how the airport fits in, the North Central West Virginia Airport. Adrian Robbins is going to be back after this break with more on that and more on Inside West Virginia Politics. Don't go away.
Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
Welcome back to Inside West Virginia Politics. We're continuing our discussion on high tech here in West Virginia, and now we're moving the conversation over to the airport, which has such an important relationship with the high tech park. Joining me now is Rick Rock from the North Central Regional Airport. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Let's start out by talking about the most exciting announcement coming here recently to the airport. Some of these federal and state grants. Tell me, what's that money going to end up going to?
Well, eventually it's going to go to adding jobs. Really, I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to strengthen and diversify the economy of West Virginia, keep people here, bring people back, and create some flat land, and just add hope and opportunity to the people of West Virginia.
How important is it for this region to have a strong airport and to have this money going to making it even better than it is now?
It's essential to have a strong airport for a region. You know, West Virginia, that connects you to the whole world. You know, we're basically one stop to anywhere in the world, and the whole world's one stop to us. And as you're trying to grow business, people always want to know how easy is it to get there. And when you have to fly 2 hours away to drive in and all the hassle that goes with that, when you're able to come directly into the community, have reliable air service, it's just a game changer for us in North Central West Virginia.
Now, we talked to Jim Estep earlier in the show about how important it is to make sure that the airport is strong and that it has connections to D.C., to some of these bigger hubs when they're bringing businesses in. Have you seen that already?
Well, we have, and Jim's played a great role in the development of our airport. And you just see the amount of people that are coming back to West Virginia and just open us back up to the world. You just see a lot of things, the great things that are happening. Bombardier recently and some of their actions with Mitsubishi, and you saw the vibrancy of the airport, and you see it growing, you see momentum building. And it's exciting to see.
And tell me, what's the connection for some people who may not really see it between the airport and high tech? We're obviously here at the high tech park.
Well, I mean, you know, high tech's important to every sector of any business that you have out there, but especially aerospace. You know, to be able to have that instant communication, to be able to have just all the infrastructure that you need to be able to do business on a high level. So there's no doubt it's important as we go out and we try to recruit additional airlines and whatnot to be able to say we have this park with all these great federal anchors, and everything they're doing is just a great plus for us, and it makes my job a lot easier.
And right now you do have partnerships with a couple of the airlines. You said it's been a big summer. Could we be seeing more commercial flights coming out of the airport here?
You know, you can go and you prove yourself, and that's what we've been able to do, is go out this summer and really have the best summer in the history of the airport. And we think it's going to be the biggest year ever in our airport's history. So when you have that kind of success, you know, success breeds success, and we hope that we just continue to grow on that, build on that momentum.
You know, in the last year we had Vice President Mike Pence fly his aircraft into your airport. How cool was that to see come in and have other people see that as well?
Well, I mean, it's historical. You know, for West Virginia, you know, to have those kind of, you know, big names come in and visit our state and see what we're really all about, and to have the infrastructure to bring them in and the airport being a part of it. I mean, it's a wonderful thing.
And tell me about some of the other exciting things that are happening over there. I know, obviously, there's quite a bit going on in this area.
Well, the airport is, we just redid, every 5 years we get an economic impact study done. Our airport provides a $1.1 billion annual economic impact, which is just amazing for what that means to our, you know, this part of the state, but the whole state. We're trying to continue just to grow that, to, you know, have more people come in, build off the companies that we do have now, make sure that they can expand to their greatest potential, and have them, they're the best salesmen, you know, for our airport and what we're trying to do. Try to create flat flat land. We have, another 100 acres that we're going to build right by the airport, so we can just continue to have it available and ready when somebody wants.
And obviously a lot of federal agencies are partnering with the high-tech park here. One of their busiest flights is going to be to D.C. How nice is it to be that close? It's a half-hour flight, and is that a big selling point, do you see, with other businesses as well?
Oh, there's no doubt. When you're able just to get anywhere and just to hear people locally, and this is my hometown, and be able to see them come in and out, so excited, and just the quality of life it provides to the regular residents and then the business people that take advantage of it for business. That just, you can really see the synergy growing, the excitement. It's great. I think it shows that we have success in the past of bringing these federal anchors with the FBI and what they're doing. I just think the future is very bright.
Excellent. A lot of really exciting things happening here at the high-tech park. Rick Rock, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And we're going to have much more Inside West Virginia politics and continue this discussion coming up next.
Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
And welcome back to our final segment this Sunday in Inside West Virginia Politics. We are now joined by Tracy Miller. She's with the Mid-Atlantic Aerospace Complex. Great to have you on Inside West Virginia Politics,
Tracy.
Thank you so much. That's a mouthful. What exactly does your job entail at the airport and with the companies, the aerospace companies at the airport?
It sure is. Back when we were looking at diversifying the West Virginia economy, Senator Byrd and Congressman Mollahan, they did the West Virginia High-Tech Consortium, and they also started the Mid-Atlantic Aerospace Complex. Not to do anything about taking away from our extractive industry sector, but to make sure that we were continuing to look out for the future of West Virginia.
You mentioned former Congressman Alan Mollahan. We're in the building that is named after him here at the High-Tech Foundation here, and I just want to do a shout out to him because obviously he and you mentioned Senator Byrd had a lot to do with this complex happening and the growth of it thus far.
Absolutely, and the synergies in this region, this I-79 corridor with aerospace and technology and the new investments that we're doing, and we're calling the future of all of our marketing Aerotech as we work more closely with Jimmy Stepp and his team.
Yeah, well, it occurs to me some of our viewers may have heard the loud bang just a second ago while you're talking. There's a lot of construction going on up here, and this is really exciting. So this place is growing. This is not a stagnant property. This is really kind of on the cutting edge of West Virginia economic development, is it not?
It is. It is amazing that this place has new construction going on today, and we also had a big announcement at the airport. So as we're looking at just the positive things going on in this region, I mean, we're ecstatic.
There's more banging going on again. Well, people get the idea. We're going to have some video of the construction as well. Listen, I suppose some folks may look at this and go, what does aviation have to do with high tech? There's obviously they need computers to run planes, but the two industries are really kind of separate. I take it you guys don't think so because you're talking about an aerotech park at the airport as well. Talk about the synergy between aeronautics, aviation, and computers and high tech.
Well, what we're looking to do is make sure that as we expand the airport, we've got the longest commercial runway in the state. We want to make sure that not just in looking out for airlines and aviation, we also have the job creation factor with 4 world-renowned companies. As we're looking at all of the expansions happening up here at the tech park, we want to make sure that we have airlines so that as we have more federal anchors that we are sure are going to locate in West Virginia, that we want to make sure that we can get people anywhere they need to go in the world, in and out of D.C., and to continue to focus on the knowledge-based sector of a diverse economy.
I've got to ask you a question, going into your personal background a little bit. You're a former school teacher.
Former educator.
These weeks that we are in now, schools are opening. At least half the school districts across West Virginia are opening this week. What does this say to young kids out there? Maybe they're in elementary school or middle school, or perhaps even more so those in high school, thinking about careers down the road, looking at STEM fields, high-tech, aviation. Is this an invitation for them to say, hey, I can stay in West Virginia and do these great jobs and make good money? And
well, you're asking a question that's after my own heart. The workforce piece has been my favorite piece of economic development because aviation and high tech tech are both such niche sectors. In aviation, you've got to have a lot of FAA certifications. When it comes to us flying in an airplane, we want to make sure that whoever worked on that airplane had the proper FAA credentials. What is great about happening with education in West Virginia right now is the West Virginia Department of Education is really expanding their focus and footprint on the aviation industry. We have a brand new program rolling out in Harrison County, so that way if kids drive by and see this park, they know NASA's here, they know that we've got airplanes running in and out of the North Central West Virginia Airport, they look up in the sky, they love an airplane, they can now start in the K-12 system, get background on aviation and knowledge-based sectors, and then continue to expand into our community colleges and our universities, all the aviation and high-tech training you would need.
Yeah, it's neat because Fairmont State has some aviation programs. Marshall University, excuse me, just announced its aviation program at Yeager Airport in Charleston. A lot of exciting things happening. We want to thank Tracy Miller. She is with the Mid-Atlantic Aeronautics Complex. I got it. The president of that organization. Much success and good luck to you here. This is an exciting time for West Virginia. Thanks for being on the program.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you back here next Sunday on Inside West Virginia Politics. Remember, we are a podcast, so download us from your favorite podcast source. See you next week, folks.